after 1 month is there.
1 month is there?
Ah.
At least 8 million.
We can do some in Pune also. Like exactly like this in Pune. We can do it in Nagpur, wonderful. Nasik. Wherever you have the presence, you can do it.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Mr. J.S. Arya, State Election Commissioner, State Election Commission, Maharashtra. Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh, Additional Municipal Commissioner, BMC. My friend Sunil Khanna, Chairman, CII, Maharashtra, and President and MD, Vertiv. Saugat Mukherjee, Regional Head, CII. Government officials, faculty, staff, members of media, students, ladies and gentlemen. Again, a very good morning, and thank you for joining us in this historic convocation hall. It's more than 100 years old, and it's always delightful to come to this place. Let me start my opening address by a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. He has said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." Let me repeat for the benefit of young audience there. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter, unquote. So if you don't go to vote on the voting day, that will be the beginning of the end of your life, if you see this quote properly. On behalf of CII, I welcome you to the seminar, Mumbai Rise, Mumbai Vote. We are holding this in collaboration with MCGM and University of Mumbai, and of course, the State Election Commission. Jan 25th every year is celebrated as the National Voters' Day. So we have gathered today in this historic place to celebrate a very important day, a National Voters' Day. It's a day we should all celebrate together. It's a day we should come together and think how we can improve the voting patterns, particularly in Mumbai. Voting is as much a responsibility as it is a right. The moment you cross 18 years old and you are registered with the election commissioner, you have a right to vote, but with that right, you should also have the responsibility of going on the voting day and voting at the election booth. I was mentioning the morning, around 5 years back, I was at a remote village in Himachal Pradesh. There were just 1,500 people there. I was holidaying with my family. And that happened to be the election day at Himachal Pradesh for the local assembly. And I was so delighted to see the entire village of 1,500 people set out in the morning at 8 o'clock wearing the best dress they pulled out, men, women, boys, girls, all above 18, went in a bus, and the entire day they sat over there, they voted, they had a cup of tea, they met everyone, and they came back in the evening. So voting for them was a responsibility, voting for them was a right. I wish in Mumbai also, and I'm sure it will happen, obviously with the number of young people who are joining, who are become more than 18 years old, I'm sure they will have an equal voice, have an equal right and equal responsibility to go out and vote. By casting vote, a citizen is really ensuring that his or her voice is heard. Maharashtra as a state has always been the forefront of being a progressive state. We have the highest GDP growth rate, we have so many companies here, and it's always been recognized as a state which has been progressive. BMC elections, typically we have seen over the last 3 elections voting rate of around 44 to 45%. But I'm sure in this elections, with all the young voters we have, we'll probably see a better turnout than what we have seen before. At CII, we always partner with BMC, with the election commissioner, with civil society to ensure that matters which are important and critical to society we partner with them and advocate its participation. I would also like to mention that at CII we have a contest going specially for students called the India We Want. If you go to the indiawewant.com, you will see the contest is open for all of you. You can put an essay, you can put a photograph, you can put a video, you can also put a selfie. The theme is India We Want, and I'm sure in this India We Want theme, you can mention about your right and responsibility as a voter. Contest ends on 31st Jan, so log on to the India We Want and put in your, your thoughts on the India you want to see. I must also mention that we have a hashtag going, which is Mumbai Rise, Mumbai Vote, and of course, the State Election Commission has a handle, Maharashtra SEC. So please pull out your phones, start tweeting, give your thoughts on Twitter platform as well. The elections to 10 municipal corporations, including Mumbai, will be held on February 21st, and more than 6 crore voters will exercise the franchise. We hope this seminar encourages you to go out and vote. We hope this seminar encourages you to tell your people at home. We hope this seminar encourages you to tell your neighbors, friends, all people you know who are above 18 to go out on the critical day, like our friends in the remote village in Himachal Pradesh, wear your best clothes and take it as a responsibility to go out and vote. Let me end by quickly reminding the young people out there of a quote in the movie I've seen of Spider-Man, which said, "With great power comes great responsibility." You should look at it in a different manner for voting. With great responsibility, which is your responsible because you're above 18, with great responsibility becomes your right to vote. So with the great right which you have to vote comes the responsibility to vote. Thank you all of you for coming here this morning and joining us in this seminar. And I hope all of you enjoy this next 2 hours over here and get a chance to speak and express your views. With this, may I now invite Mr. J.S. Saharia, State Election Commissioner, State Election Commission Maharashtra, to set forth the theme and speak to you on his thoughts. Please do welcome Mr. Saharia. Sorry, there is a small change. We will have Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh, Additional Municipal Commissioner, speaking first, and then Mr. Saharia. So please do welcome Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh. Sorry about that.
State Election Commissioner for Maharashtra, Honorable Shri J. Saharia sir, office bearers of CII, dignitaries of the dais, faculty, government officials, students and ladies and gentlemen. BMC 2017 general elections are hardly about a month away from now. And every year, for every general election, we speak about the voter turnover. And it is really a matter of concern that in past few years, the voter turnover, at least in municipal election, is going down and down. If you look at the average of last 3 general elections for BMC, the average is only about 44.48%, which is less than 50%. And we always say that we do not get good representatives to represent us, to represent our issues, and the development of the city is not taking the desired pace. Now this is an opportunity for all of us to elect the candidate of our choice, to go into his background and select a better candidate. You may be knowing that the Election Commission of Maharashtra has recently introduced so many new features which were not there in the past few elections. For instance, for this election, we will be publishing in the newspapers the character antecedents of the candidates, and for the benefit of voters, we would be displaying if there are any criminal complaints or if there is any criminal background of a particular candidate. We will be not only publishing it in the newspapers, but we will also be displaying it outside the polling booths by way of a flex board, so that voter can select a candidate and he can decide if there is a criminal background whether to vote for such a candidate or not. Recently, a study into voting pattern of Mumbai voters was conducted by Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economy in Pune, and they have come out with certain observations which I would like to share with you. It's a detailed report, but I would like to share only a few of them. First and the foremost is, normally what we think is the younger generation is more keen to vote. However, as per the survey, the percentage of young generation between 18 to 35 is only 23% who go regularly for voting. Whereas if you consider 36 to 50 and 51 plus, it is as high as 50%. So it is much contrary to our belief that the younger generation is very regular in voting, and that is why we have now decided, with the help of CII, to have a dialogue with the younger generation, with the students who have been just enrolled or who have perhaps voted in the last assembly or parliament elections, or who have registered their names after the last elections. Now it is an opportunity for you to exercise power of your vote to select better candidate. The next finding was education of the voter. Now here almost 60 those either SSC or HSC, and graduate or postgraduate or professionals, those who are regularly voting, their percentage on an average is only 24%. So this is also much contrary to our belief that the educated class is going in large number for voting. In fact, it is the lesser educated class which is going in large number for voting. And therefore, I believe Mumbai University is better placed to address this issue. That in many cases, it is our experience also while working in the field as collector, when we prepare our voters list or when we go for voter awareness campaign, many times it so happens that the collectors officials are not even allowed entry into the high risers or in the societies, and many a times they have only to give their leaflets or the literature only in the society office and go back. Now there were top 5 reasons for not voting which have been found by the Gokhale Institute study, and which are probably more or less known to all of us, but still I would like to repeat it once again. Top 5 reasons for not voting, as was found out by them, is casting my vote has not changed anything so far. That is 27% sample survey. They have said that casting of my vote has not changed anything so far. My name was not in the voters list is 25%. Now my name is not in the voters list. There have been constant efforts from the Chief Election Officer's office by way of newspaper advertisements or by way of TV advertisements or the advertisements on radio to find out if your name is existing in the voters list, and if it is not existing, then please get yourself registered. It happens many times that I change my residence and I do not give any intimation to the election office about change of my residence and do not enroll my name into my new address. As a result, whenever there is a verification, my name gets deleted. However, my name is not in the voters list is almost 25%. All candidates are more or less of the same quality. That is again 25%. My name was missing in the voters list despite having received the voter slip is 21%. Now this may also happen this time as well, because if the political parties distribute you the slips pertaining to the electoral list of the last elections, there is every possibility that after the surveys which were held subsequently, and if you have changed your residence or if you are not found at the residence, that probably your name have got deleted. It may so also happen that you may have a voting card, but your name may not be there in the voters list. In both cases, you are not allowed to vote. And the last is, I didn't think my vote would matter. That is almost 20%. Top 2 reasons for voting: I felt it was my duty as a citizen to participate in the local elections. And the next was, I knew that a particular candidate was very good and I wanted to bring him to power. So this is very encouraging fact that the voters feel that the candidate to whom he is going to vote is a good candidate and he has a confidence that he would do something for development of the ward and ultimately for development of the city. I would thank officials of CII for having organized this seminar and awareness campaign, and I hope that they will hold these kinds of seminars in other cities where the municipal elections are going to take place along with Mumbai, that is Thane, Nagpur, Pune and other municipal corporations. I hope that the panel discussions which are to take place after the initial program would be very useful and fruitful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Deshmukh, for those introductory comments. May I now request Mr. Saharia, State Election Commissioner, to provide his thoughts. Please do welcome him with a round of applause.
All right. I can put this. Okay. Okay. Mr. Ninad Karpe, Deputy Chairman, CIA Western Region. Mr. Sunil Khanna, Chairman, CIA Maharashtra State. My colleague and Additional Municipal Commissioner, Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh, Mr. Dr. Khan, Registrar of Mumbai University, distinguished panelists which include Dr. Ajit Ranade from the Aditya Birla Group, Professor Manasi Phadke from Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics, Pune, Ms. Dharna Dhamija from Tata Sons, Ms. Kashmira Mebawala from Tata Capital Financial Services Limited, Dr. Anil Patil, Director Board of College and University Development, University of Mumbai, all the distinguished participants for today's workshop, my colleague officers from the State Election Commission, including Mr. Shekhar Channe, Avinash Sanas, Mr. More, all the participants, all the officials of CII and my dear student friends. At the outset, let me first congratulate CII and their officers, especially Dr. Saugata Mukherjee and Ms. Jain for organizing this program today. In fact, we have been in touch with them for the last couple of months for arranging this kind of program so that an awareness can be created amongst the people of Mumbai about the coming elections. I would also like to thank at the outset the Bombay University, the Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh and his colleague Dr. Khan, Registrar, for graciously agreeing to give this convocation hall for this program. And I am very pleasantly surprised, and I must congratulate them that they have done a wonderful job of restoring the glory of this beautiful hall. I think they deserve a round of applause for this wonderful work. This hall I had seen a couple of years back when it was not air conditioned, and then it was a little difficult to work here because it used to get very warm. But now it's such a wonderful place, and I think for national causes, Bombay University will be always coming forward and help us. So with these introductory things, I would like to come to the main subject of today's workshop as to why are we present here today. There are two important things why we are here today. The first thing you might have seen in today's newspapers that 25th January is being celebrated all over the country as the National Voters' Day. Today, a function at the national level has been organized at the hands of Honorable President of India, and similar functions are being organized throughout the country. In Maharashtra also, several functions are being organized. The National Voters' Day is primarily a function to educate all the young people, especially those who have achieved 18 years of age, on 1st of January to enroll themselves as a voter. Because as you are aware, as per our constitution, every Indian who is above 18 years of age, as on 1st of January, is eligible to vote in all the coming elections. So this is a very important day for the country where we educate our young people especially to enroll themselves as a voter. Once you are enrolled, you are eligible to vote, both for the parliament and assembly and the local bodies. The second important reason why are we here is that in election there are two major events. The first event is the enrollment, for which I just mentioned we celebrate National Voters' Day. And the second important aspect of the elections, how many people come and vote. Now, if we look at the statistics, you will be surprised that in the rural areas, Gramin Kshetra Madhe, voting percentage is above 70%. Whereas in corporation areas, the big urban areas, the voting percentage is extremely low. If we look at all the municipal corporations of Maharashtra, the voting percentage is in the region of about 55 to 56%. And if you look at Mumbai, Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh, Additional Municipal Commissioner, just mentioned, it is just 44 to 45%. That means out of 100 people who are registered as voters, only 44 and 45 people come and vote. The remaining 55 people do not vote, though their name is in the voter list. Now, this is a matter of grave concern, great concern. Why it is so? And this workshop is primarily focused at the second aspect, why people don't vote. And therefore, the slogan, they have very aptly given it, Mumbai Rise and Mumbai Vote. And the relevance is what? The Bombay Corporation and 10 other corporations in Maharashtra are going for voting on 21st of February 2017. Just about a month away from today. Today is 25th of January and 21st of February, the polling is going to take place in 10 municipal corporations in Maharashtra, and which includes the major corporations of Maharashtra: Mumbai, Thane, Ulhasnagar, Pune, Pimpri Chinchwad, Sholapur, Nasik, Nagpur, Amravati and Akola. These are the 10 major corporations. And you will be surprised what is the total population of these 10 corporations. It's more than 2 crores. It's, to be precise, it's in the region of 2.5 crores population of these 10 corporations. And the voters are nearly 2 crores. And out of these 2 crores, the voting percentage is just less than 50%. That means out of 2 crore people in these 10 corporations, only 1 crore people vote. In Mumbai, the number of voters are more than 1 crore, but the people who vote are just 45 lakhs. That means 55 lakh people in Mumbai do not vote. I am not talking of the persons who are not registered. I am a person, my name might not be in the register, so I don't vote, that's a different issue. But those who are registered, they don't vote. That is the very big challenge before all of us, because we have the right to vote, but we don't vote. We don't vote, but still we criticize everybody else. Yes, criticism is a constitutional guarantee given in the Constitution. We should do it. But we must discharge our responsibility also of voting. And therefore, when I requested CII and Mumbai Corporation and University of Mumbai that we must organize things like workshop like this, they readily agreed, and I am very happy that today's workshop is being arranged. Now, as the Mr. Ninad Karpe mentioned, and as Sanjay Deshmukh mentioned just before me, we have to make it a movement. Mumbai Corporation and the State Election Commission, we are trying our best by different strategies to motivate the people to go and vote. We are taking help of everybody. We are taking the help of the universities in the state. Mumbai University is there, SNDT is there. We are taking help of all colleges. We are taking help of the corporate houses. We are taking the help of NGOs. We are taking the help of the banks, railways, airports, everybody. But still, until and unless it becomes a people's movement, I do not think we can move beyond a point. We cannot cross much higher statistics. It has to become a people's movement. It has to become a youth movement. All our young friends, all our college boys and girls who are above 18 years of age, they have to take upon themselves to ensure that people go and vote. And therefore, this workshop, according to me, becomes of critical importance to me. I have made some slides which I'll quickly go through, and then during that presentation I will mention what all of us can do together, which can be discussed by the panelists subsequently, and I think that will be a grand beginning of this entire thing. Next. Slides. Next. This has come? Yes. Yeah. Now, there are some initiatives with the State Election Commission. As you might be aware, there are two election commissions in the country. One is the Election Commission of India, and the other is the State Election Commission in every state. The Election Commission of India conducts election to the Parliament and the Assembly, while the State Election Commission conducts elections to the local bodies. That is Municipal Corporation, Zilla Parishad, Municipal Councils, and Gram Panchayat. Just to give a small statistics, because I have given only 15 minutes to speak, I'll try to finish it within 15-20 minutes. Just to give the statistics, people of Maharashtra, we are about 11.5 crore population Maharashtra, we elect 48 members of parliament. We elect 288 members of the Legislative Assembly. The election to these two bodies are conducted by Election Commission of India. As against this, the people of Maharashtra elect more than 2.5 lakh people for the local bodies, which includes municipal corporations, which includes Zilla Parishads, municipal councils, and Gram Panchayats. 2.5 lakh people are elected by State Election Commission every 5 years. And the major elections are going to take place in February. We had one round of major elections in November and December, in which 200 municipal councils had gone for voting, and now 26 Zilla Parishad and 10 municipal corporations are going in for election, polling. So what we did, our objective is to make the elections free, fair and transparent. We want to maximize the voter participation and voters' education. Next. And we are trying to use the computer and the modern technology, and we want to involve the youth and all the stakeholders in this exercise. Next. Voter education and participation. We have undertaken publicity drive with the help of all stakeholders, as I was just mentioning. We have involved universities in a very big way. I must compliment them. The Bombay University was the first university in the state and probably in the country where the management council passed a resolution resolving that they will do everything possible in voter education and voter participation. I think this is one of the very great steps which Bombay University has done, which should be replicated by all the universities, not only in Maharashtra but all over the country. And once the university is committed, all the colleges under their control get committed to it. I am very happy that Bombay University, Pune University, Amravati University and Nasik University, we have been able to interact with more than 2,000 colleges with virtual classroom and with the virtual classroom system. This is, until unless we involve the youth, unless and involve with the universities, I don't think we can move forward much. Banks are playing a very major role. I requested all the banks and all the banks have agreed that they will do 3 things minimum. All the branches in the state, wherever there are elections, they'll put the banners and holdings. They will intimate all their customers with the SMS services. And the internet banking and the mobile banking, the first screenshot, every time a consumer uses that, shall be the message about the election. Some of the banks have already started it, and I'm sure the other banks will start doing it. Cooperative housing societies are playing a very major role. You might have read, we had requested all the societies. Bombay, there are more than 40,000 societies. The chairman and the secretary of the society must request their members to go and vote. Because all the members of the society are closely interacting with the chairman and the secretary. So secretary and the chairman can easily convince their members that they should go and vote. Then we are using the help of NGOs, the corporate houses, etc., etc. We are also having a float on the 26th January, which you will be seeing tomorrow. Next. Now, this is just some of the information I would like to give. We are trying to use the technology in a very big way for all the purposes. Here, one word of caution that sometimes the people complain, especially in the big corporations, that our names are not there in the voter list or our names are missing from the voter list, etc. I would like to take this opportunity, this platform, to explain that the voter list is prepared by the Election Commission of India. We don't prepare the voter list. So for the coming elections on 21st of February, we are using the voter list prepared by the Election Commission of India as on 5th January 2017. If in that list the name is there, that gentleman or lady can vote. And if the name is not there, they cannot vote. We have taken a massive publicity drive between 16th September and 21st of October, requesting the people to enroll their names if their names are not there. I am sure all those who have done it, their names will come, and those who have not done, they'll have to wait for the next elections. Voter list as available by Election Commission of India on 5th of January 2017 will only be used. Names there will only be used. No other person will be allowed to vote. Now we have developed some mobile applications which will be of great use to everybody, which are frequently asked questions about the elections. A very innovative application we have developed, True Voter, by which anybody can find his name or her name and the ward and the polling station, so that it will be very convenient for him to find the place where he has to go. We have developed another application, Citizens on Patrol, by which the citizens can keep a watch over the purity process of the election. Whether voters are being threatened, whether voters are being bribed, whether the liquor is being distributed, whether the cash is being distributed or not. Photograph of that activity can be taken and it can be sent real time to the officers who are involved in the election superintendents. Next. We are also going to use the social media in a very big way, especially for connecting with the youth. Facebook, Google, Yahoo, Operation Black Dot, Gupshup, and Project Mahavoters, and we have got a facility of missed call also. So we are trying to reach to every voter, especially the youth, by using the social media. Our man who is looking after this is here. If there are any queries towards the end or during the session, he'll be able to answer that. Just for the general information for all of you, because all of you are representing the society, to make the elections pure, we have taken some more steps which are very relevant. Next. Every candidate has to open a separate bank account, because that is very critical issue. How much a candidate spends in the elections, how much a political party spends in the election. So we have asked all the candidates to open a bank account. All political parties will have to open a separate bank account, and they will have to spend only from there and primarily through the checks. They cannot, as far as possible, they should not spend the money through cash. Every candidate will have to submit the details of the expenditure within every day, and also within 30 days once the elections are over. And if he does not submit the full details of the expenditure, his election can be set aside. He can be disqualified. That means a winning corporator can lose his election if he does not submit the details of his expenditure incurred by him. Another important thing which we have done, we have deregistered nearly 220 political parties which were registered in Maharashtra and which were somehow not actively participating in the process or not complying with the directions of the Election Commission. Next. This is just for your very brief knowledge. Model Code of Conduct is something which we implement in all the elections to ensure the purity of the elections, to ensure the elections are free, fair and transparent. No person, no candidate, no political party gets any preferred treatment from anybody, especially the party in power. And therefore, we are going to implement the Model Code of Conduct very vigorously in our state this time. For your information, you might have read in the newspapers, we are engaging the income tax officers to keep track about the candidates who are going to spend more than the allowed limits. Next. And I'm not going through the statistics, little statistics, because the just concluded municipal elections in November, December, whatever we have done has given very good dividends. I do not want to go into those details, but we are sure that the steps which we have taken will help in making the elections better. Research about which Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh had mentioned, we have the Gokhale Institute. They have done large number of research. Bombay University has also done some research in these elections, and we are finding this research extremely useful for customizing our strategies for making these elections better. With these words, I would like to once again thank all of you, especially CII and Mumbai University and all the panelists, and with the hope that this will not be the first and the last workshop. We'll have a series of workshops of like this, not only in Mumbai city, but other parts of the state, so that it becomes a people's movement, and the voting percentage, which is very pathetic today, according to me it is pathetic, just less than 50%, rises to a good level. Before just concluding, innovative strategies have to be adopted by each and everybody, not just by the commission, not by the municipal corporation or the university. Banks can do great work, corporates can do great work. Just to give an example, Matheran Hill Station Hotel Associations, they have resolved last week that those persons who will come after voting, they will get 20% discount. And those who go on 20th without voting, They will welcome them, but they will express displeasure that we have come without voting, you have not participated in the national program. So let's all of us put together, decide the strategies for ensuring higher percentage. Then only the Mumbai will rise and Mumbai will vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saharia, for those words. May I now request Sunil Khanna to propose a vote of thanks?
Mr. J.S. Saharia, State Election Commissioner, Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh, Additional Municipal Commissioner, BMC, my colleagues Ninad, Sagat, government officials, faculty members, students, members from my media, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to all of you. CII is proud to be associated with BMC and University of Mumbai in this very important initiative of generating voter awareness, especially in run to the BMC elections 2017, and on this 25th of January, which is the National Voters' Day. We see a great turnout from industry and students, which is very promising and a very positive step towards giving citizens a voice to choose their leaders responsible through the power of voting. On behalf of CII, I would like to thank Mr. Saharia, State Election Commissioner, for being with us here today and sharing his thoughts. As Mr. Saharia mentioned, that it's a matter of concern that the voting percentage is low, especially in the urban area, it's less than 55%, whereas in rural it's close to 70%. So it has to be, and as Mr. Deshmukh pointed out, that it is the young youth of this country in the age of 18 to 35, the voting percentage is only 25%, and graduate, postgraduates and higher education, again, the voting percentage is less than 25%. So it's a matter of great concern. So this has to be a people's movement, in order to encourage our youth, our citizens to come and vote in big numbers. And as Mr. Saharia pointed out, mentioned that he's trying to create awareness. He has been involving youth. He has involved Mumbai universities, banks, cooperative housing societies, corporate houses in this awareness initiative, and launched various applications like mobile applications, social media, and so on. So thank you, sir. Thanks, Mr. Saharia. Thank you, Mr. Deshmukh. And as Ninad mentioned, that it is the beginning of the end if you remain silent. So my dear students, especially youth, the future of this country is in your hand. You have not only to go and vote, you have to create awareness, you have to encourage others to go and vote in big numbers. So thank you all for being with us. Now we move to the next part of the session, which is a panel discussion on Mumbai Rise, Mumbai Vote. So after the changeover, Mr. Ninad Karpe will take over this session. So thank you all, thank you very much.
again. Welcome back. Welcome back to this panel discussion. We will start soon. Now we have all the panelists except Mansi. She is on her way. I think she's traveling from Pune, so she'll join us anytime. But we'll start it off in the interest of time. We will start our panel discussion. So we have a power-packed panel here, and in the next 45-50 minutes, probably an hour or so, we will try to cover as many topics as possible, and hopefully we'll get some time for all of you, especially the young audience, to ask some questions. Remember, the Twitter handle is Mumbai Rise, Mumbai Vote. You can always, that's the hashtag, and you can always, the handle of Mumbai Maharashtra State Election Commission is Maharashtra SEC. And there are a lot of active Twitters here. Even Ajit does active tweeting, so you can always go to his handle, Ajit Ranade, that's right. So there are a lot of people here tweeting, so please go ahead. I'm looking forward to this session as much as you are, because there are a lot of issues involved in this entire complex topic, and I hope our panelists throw up questions and hopefully some solutions as well. With this, I would like to kick off this panel discussion by requesting Dr. Anil Patil, who is the Director, Board of College and University Development, University of Bombay, to start off with his comments. Since we have 5 panelists, I have requested each of them to speak for not more than 5 to 7 minutes. So please do give a big round of applause for Dr. Patil. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Mr. Jay Saharia, State Election Commissioner, other delegates and officers present in this audience, my colleague panelist members on the dais. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for giving this opportunity to talk with all of you in this seminar. This is basically Mumbai Rise and Mumbai Vote. Earlier speakers gave you the idea of this seminar and the objective of this seminar. As being the part of the university and college, we are trying at level based from last so many years to involve our youngsters, youth, in this process of voting and the election procedures. Last 8 years, we are observing this today's day as a National Voters' Day. And I remember in many of the colleges in the universities, we used to have rallies on this day in the morning to create the awareness among the voters as well as to create the awareness among the youth. And every time when the elections are there, we used to have many such awareness programs through our various organizations, as one of that is National Service Scheme, NSS. Another is our Student Welfare Department, University. So director used to take the program to create the awareness among the students, among the youth. So basically in this year we are associated with the State Election Commission, and we involve ourselves in two different ways. The first, as Saharia sir has mentioned, we are involved in the research, maybe the pre-election or the post-election research topics which we have selected. Our faculties and students are working on that. And second, from August 2016, we are working on the registration of the voters. And so basically in the colleges we had these centers for the registration, and through these centers we have tried at level best to register each and every student who has completed 18 years of age. And our principal or the NSS coordinators and our cultural coordinators at the college or the nodal officers which we have appointed at the college, they tried at their best to make the 100% registration of the colleges. Now the question is, the percentage of the voting in the election from the group 18 to 35 and 35 to 50, 18 to 35 is very less, maybe around 20% only. Why it is happening? That is the question. And it is my appeal to all my colleagues, students who are present over here, that see, you have to introspect yourself why it is less, why it is happening. Because it is a right of each of us who has completed 18 years of age that we have to do the voting at the time of election. It may be election of any, maybe the parliamentary election, the municipal or the ZP election, what it may be. Why it is happening? That we should ask a question to us. Second part is the more we have to think, the graduates and postgraduates are not coming forward for the voting. Again, these are the most literate persons, and still the percentage of the voting among them is very less. Again, I appeal to my colleague friends, the teachers and others who are there, that yes, you have to vote. Instead of that, what happened when it is sometime or mostly it is a holiday? Why it is a holiday? Because to enable you to do the voting at the voting center, but instead of that we are going for the picnic or something like that. Mr. Saharia sir has mentioned just now what the Hotel Association at Mathura has mentioned. So before going anywhere, I think it is a right to vote. And then only you have to go if you want to enjoy or you have to have a picnic. Now I would like to draw your attention to the various things which are available as on today. We have the social media, we have the mobiles, we have the apps. My student friends can use this. And already we have mentioned in our various workshops that we have the different groups, WhatsApp groups, the chatting groups, and through this, I think on that particular day, the voting day, the members of the group should ask each other whether we have voted or not. If not, then please go and vote. That should be the message should be passed on your group. And everybody will keep the supervision on the other, asking whether you have voted or not. And I think if you decide, if you wish, then we can say, yes, my friend, all of us in my group are voted, or you should check whether he has voted or not, or she has voted or not, and if not, you should ask them, please go and vote. So that we can do, again, through our groups or the apps, we can ask everybody that please vote on that day. Secondly, in our college, the classes, the class representatives, they are supposed to take care of their particular class and see whether they have voted or not. In our NSS group of college, we are going to take care that everybody in that particular group will vote and will see or will supervise it whether he has voted or not. Secondly, the adoption of the ward or adoption of the society. In that also we are involved, and we are going to see whether that particular society which is adopted by a particular college or a particular group of the students has voted or not. But dear friends, it is in our hand, as this is one of the largest democratic country and we have the right to choose a particular proper person to represent you in various bodies. If you are losing this opportunity, then we have no right to say after that we are not getting proper service or we are not getting proper things. So we should not miss this opportunity. So my all students, friends who are present over here, last year from August onward, we are involved in this all process, but now the time will come on the 21st of February where we are going to have the election, and on that day, particular day, all what we are doing from last so many months will give us a result if you vote, or you will ask your friends, ask your relatives, ask your parents to go and to do the voting. If it happens, then and then only what we are doing for last so many years will be come to the fruit. Otherwise, what we are doing for so many days since last 8-9 months, that will be not having any fruit. So it's my appeal to my all friends that please take care, and on 21st of February, on the day of voting, now this is the municipal corporation voting, but there are some other elections are also there, as sir has mentioned in ZP. On any day of the voting, you should take care and you should vote and make the others to vote also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Patil. And in the brief 5 minutes he spoke, he has really kind of exhorted all of you to come and vote. I would also like to welcome Mansi Phadke. She's here from Pune. So welcome to this panel discussion. I will quickly move on now to Kashmira Mewawala. She is from Tata Capital Financial Services. She will provide her comments in the next 5 minutes on Mumbai Rise, Mumbai Vote. Please welcome Kashmira.
Good morning. Thank you, Ninad, and thank you to all my panelists on the stage right now. And thank you, sir, for a very enlightening session in the morning. So it's a pleasure to be here. I'm happy to see the youth of Mumbai as part of this event. It's really, really heartening. So I'm from Tata Capital, like Ninad mentioned. I'm also the chairperson of the CII Indian Women Network. So I talk having been with a responsible corporate and also representing some of the women colleagues who are present here. I think this tagline is very, very relevant. It talks about Mumbai rise. So Mumbai become conscious to the fact that you are responsible. It's your responsibility to vote. Be very conscious of your options that are available. So read, understand, check out the candidates who are present. Please find out that who are going to be the architects of the next phase for the city. Please take a studied decision. And then that gets you on to Mumbai, please vote. Please exercise the right. That's a responsibility we have. It's not just something additional. And particularly I appeal to the youth here today that you are a massive force in the city, a massive force that is to contend with. I was a little surprised to hear the figures a little earlier which said only 25% of the youth really vote. I think it's your responsibility. When I was in school, and I don't want to create anything controversial, I remember when I was in school, the dictionary meaning of an idiot was defined as a person who did not vote. I don't know if the dictionaries still carry it or not. It's not something I have created. This is something I had studied. So please, you do not want to put yourself into that position even remotely. So once you vote, I'm almost certain that the next time we are here, the percentages increase. We've taken a conscious decision. We become responsible for the actions of the candidates, whom we voted for. We'll soon have another line underneath vote, which will say rise. So Mumbai rise, become conscious, Mumbai vote, and you'll see that this beautiful city that we're all representing here today, I think we're as beautiful a city as San Francisco. Look at the coastline that we have. Look at the diversity that we enjoy in the city. Look at the old buildings and the infrastructure that we have been blessed with. Yes, I'm sure there's a lot of things which can be improved. But every time we look at somebody else to say, what did you do or what did she do? Remember the great historian who mentioned, don't keep asking what is it that you can do for the city or for the country. Look at yourself and say, what is it that I can do? And therefore I appeal to the younger generation and to all those who are present here, start by at least exercising your right to vote. And you're exercising your right to vote, please do it judiciously, please take a studied decision because we become responsible for that. And only then we'll be able to see a difference. Today, if we know that we are a population of the millions that we saw in the presentation earlier, and we have only a small percentage who are actually exercising their right to vote, look at the candidates, what is their feeling? They really don't become responsible towards the voters because there's a small percentage which just does not vote. You have the power in your hands and we need to exercise it. I don't know how many of you remember the campaign, and I'll leave my colleague Dharna from the Tata Group to talk about it. The Tata Group ran a campaign, I think was it 2 years back, on the power of 49, where it actually said 49% of the population in the country is women, but the percentage who actually exercise their right to vote is minuscule. So as a responsible corporate, the Tata Group ran this huge campaign encouraging women to come out in large numbers. And today I encourage all the women students here, saying don't leave this for your fathers and your brothers and your husbands to do. Please come out and exercise your vote. It is your right to vote. But like I said, be judicious in choosing candidates, do your reading, please ensure that you take a studied decision. And I'm sure, considering that this election is more closer to our hearts than the national elections, simply because it affects the roads we walk on, the water that we drink, the streets that we roam in. It's all about our safety, our security, the health of the city. And I'm sure with your exercising the power to vote, so much more will be done and we'll have a much better city. Thank you.
Thank you, Kashmira, for that inspirational kind of 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and of course reminding us of the definition of idiot. I think it still holds true. So if you go now and go on Google and check, you will still find. So if you don't vote, you know what you are. With that, maybe you will continue with Dharna. Dharna Damija is from Tata Sons. Kashmira mentioned about what Tatas did in the past. So maybe you'll have continuity in the thought process. Over to Dana for your 5 minutes. Please do welcome her with a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank CII, MCGM, and University of Mumbai for organizing this event and bringing us all together. Thank you to the dignitaries on the dais, students and faculty present in the room for being part of this event. I think it is the first step towards the movement that we are trying to create. I would actually like to start by saying that participation and involvement of any citizen in politics is for the greater good of the community. That is the idea, that if you are able to involve people, and that holds good for any organization for that matter, that if you are able to involve people from the grassroots in the decision-making process, it creates a force, it creates a system which will do good for everybody. However, as mentioned by speakers in the morning and highlighted by Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh also, there are various reasons why people do not go out and vote. It could be purely disillusionment, people are not interested, they are not aware of their own rights, and they are missing out on using their rights of right of voting. To manage something like this, so what the Tata Group did was, and which I was part of individually as well, was a campaign that we undertook along with Tata Tea. Tata Tea started a campaign called Jagore in 2007, which was aimed at creating an enlightenment in the youth and requesting them to take up issues which they think are important and which they think we can easily blame on somebody else, to take that in their own hands and do something about it. This particular campaign tried to target different sectors of the community in which the issues that we talked about are prevalent. We would talk about going out and voting and making that, exercising that right to ensure that you are playing your role in choosing the right candidate. Then the next community that we targeted was the community of women, which constituted 49% of the population, but their vote, the vote bank was not counted as one particular one. Women do not have enough representation in any sphere of either politics, economics, or financial activity, as is their representation in the population. We ended up using a lot of techniques, including television and news channel communication, social media, including utilizing our employee networks to make sure that you create a force around the employee networks and their families and friends, and trying to force them to go out to vote. The use of technology, as is mentioned, trying to enable voter registration, raising and collating issues, enabling debates and discussions of topics which are important. And all of this at the end of the campaign led to about 405 out of the 543 parliamentary constituencies that went on poll to come out with issues which are important to them. We created a 10-pointer manifesto out of this, which is presented to the political parties, which goes on to show that if there is enough force and push provided to causes which are important to a particular sector of the society, then you can actually hold political parties accountable for the promises that they make. The way in which you collate and push this information, again, goes on to provide more power and leverage to the society at large. This example of cause-based marketing is important, especially from the perspective of companies, because we as a corporate, we end up influencing a lot of lives of not only the people who work for us, but also of the community that we serve as a consumer. And this led to not only creating a really large brand recognition, which led to a 13.4% increase in the sales of the company, but also created a positive brand recall again around the company. So it goes on to prove that all the social causes that are actually related with the brands and in the world that we operate in, there is a large contribution that corporates can make. So I thought this example was important to emphasize from the perspective of corporates and what all we can do and provide as inputs to the society at large. Thank you so much for having us all here and giving us this opportunity to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana, for telling us what Tata Group had done, and some of these things probably can be emulated by other companies as well. We now have with us Professor Mansi Phadke. She is economist with Gokhale Institute of Politics and Science. She's come all the way from Pune especially to be with us. So please do welcome her. Big round of applause.
Hello, good morning everybody. Saharya sir, Mr. Deshmukh and all people here on the panel and of course audience, the youngsters of Mumbai. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And what I'm really going to present in the next 5 minutes very quickly is the highlights of a very recent study that the Gokhale Institute has carried out in Mumbai. And the topic of our study was really very simple. Why is it that people don't really feel like voting? So we tried to come out with some attributes, with some voter attributes, which actually encourage people to vote and which discourage or demote the process of voting. So I thought that it will be interesting to share these with you so that we will really have a fair idea of how to get around this whole process. Right? Now, when we really started this survey out, one of the things which was really there in our minds is that what is it, do people really connect with the local bodies or no? Is it a problem that people don't really feel interested in local politics because of which they don't vote? Now I've got some numbers with me, and these numbers are from a scientifically, statistically correctly done survey. So I think the numbers hold some water. Now one of the first things which we realized is that out of 0 to 10, the average Mumbaikar has shared with us, and this is all across Mumbai, the average Mumbaikar has shared with us that his interest in local politics stands at 4 out of 10. Which is a little discouraging. Now the same person, however, professes something of an interest to the Delhi politics. So you feel very connected to the country politics, but maybe you don't feel as connected to the local body politics. And that is one of the problems which dissuades people from voting. So I think that this was surprising to me because as our earlier speaker said, the roads, the water, the garbage collection, everything which actually impacts my standard of life is right here, right now. It is local. And despite that, I feel more of an affinity towards Delhi politics. I vote for Lok Sabha, but I do not for BMC. This was a very surprising kind of a finding for us. The second thing which people told us is that they are quite happy with BMC services. So the BMC rating index which we have created, that seems to be okay. Now, which is one of another interest points to me, that one of the things which actually dissuades people from voting is frustration. But apparently in Mumbai, there seems to be no such kind of thing happening. People seem to be okay with the BMC services. So what I feel is it's something wherein we are taking the BMC for granted. You don't know what it is like not to have a perfect, not to have a good level of service happening around us, because of which you don't feel connected to that whole point. So this could be one of the reasons why people are getting dissuaded from voting, because that the service is already there now. What is my vote really going to do? That seems to be one of the perceptions which came out through that survey. I have some very startling statistics here. We tried to figure out who are the rare voters, who are the intermittent voters, kabhi haan, kabhi na types, and who are the people who vote very, very regularly. Now we find that 30% of Mumbaikars only are regular when it comes to voting for the BMC. Another 30% is absolutely rare. They have never voted at all in the past 2 or 3 BMC elections. And 40% of the people are such that they have voted intermittently. I think that it is this group of 40% which really has to be targeted through an active voter awareness campaign so that we get better results this time. Now the next point immediately is, who are these intermittent voters? Because if they have to be targeted, then we have to know whom to talk to. Right? Now, to again my surprise, or maybe not so much of a surprise here, but I find that it is the highly educated people who are the intermittent voters. Right? So should we conclude that people should not get educated? Of course not. But there's a way to talk to them that your education should be used for the betterment of the city, right? It cannot be that I'm educated, I'm earning properly, and so bus life khatam. It cannot stop there. The engagement with the society, the engagement with politics has to start there. So it's the highly educated people who are the intermittent voters. It is the age group 18 to 35, and that is why I think that today's talk, with the youngsters of this of the city kind of makes more sense. It is the age group 18 to 35, which is our rare or intermittent voting base. It is the high income groups, socio-economic classification A, right? The A class people who are simply not coming out to vote. And finally, unfortunately, you find that there is a huge gender bias in Mumbai, and it is the women voters who are the intermittent voters of this city. So, because of all of this, we've come out to a position where we are saying that now we need to have a voter awareness campaign, and today's, our interface with you, our engagement with you is one of the ways to create this whole awareness, because it is the 18 to 35 and it's the women who really need to be made more conscious of the fact that their vote matters. I'm just going to give one last bit and then stop with that. We try to understand what are the top reasons why people do not vote. And one of the unfortunate reasons which has come out very sharply in Mumbai is that my vote does not make a difference. So it's a classic case of urban apathy. It's not very peculiar to Mumbai alone, If you look at political economy studies throughout the globe, you find that urban apathy is a big thing. So my vote does not matter. I think that is a wrong line to take, especially by the educated. It definitely does matter, and you have to participate in that whole process. You have to be a part of the system to get the system moving. So this has to be one of our takeaways. The other thing, and I'm especially saying this on this platform because I think political parties also have to be a part of this entire engagement that we are really trying to create here. The other thing which has come out very sharply is I do not vote. Why don't you vote when you ask that? So people say that I do not vote because I feel that the candidate quality is not up to the mark. Yeah, and I think that this is something that also needs to be changed. So a change has to come from the voter base with actively participating more in the democratic process. A change also has to come from the political parties who are then, putting up better candidates who can really change the way we are looking at Mumbai or any city for that matter. Right? So these are some of the findings which we've had in our study. Again, I'd like to thank the organizers for putting up such a good event which, enables all of us to come together here and brainstorm as to how the voting percentage can be bettered in the upcoming elections. Thank you.
Thank you, Mansi. That was wonderful to throw so many facts. Some of them quite startling, but it's good to know the facts as you stated it. And I'm sure we'll get probably some more time in the question and answer. With that, I would now like to request my friend Ajit Ranade, the final speaker, is Senior President and Chief Economist at Aditya Birla Group, distinguished economist and a regular columnist. He'll provide his 5 minutes comments.
So good morning everybody, and first of all, as Mr. Saria said, wish you all a very, very happy Voters' Day. So Voters' Day is celebrated on 25th January, one day before Republic Day, because the Election Commission of India was born in 1950 on 25th January, that is one day before the Republic of India. So Election Commission is one day older than Republic of India. That's how important election is for our democracy. Secondly, I'm going to type something on this. Can I just, is this laptop connected? I just want to type something on this, if it is allows me. I'll just type it. It's not connected?
No, it's not connected. If you want, I will just, you want to project that?
Yeah.
Just give it in printer, I will quickly.
No. This thing, if I can.
No, it will not connect.
It's okay. So first thing is National Voters Day. Second thing is Mr. Patil is here from BCUD. I think Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh, Vice Chancellor, is not here, but Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh, AMC, is here. See, Mumbai University has 7.8 lakh students. And by definition, all of them are 18 years and above. Now, of course, some of them are in Konkan and not in Mumbai. So can Mumbai University promise us, Mumbai city gives us 44% voting. Can Mumbai University give us 90% voting, please? Mr. Patil, if you can carry the message to the students. And may I suggest, like the Matheran Hotel Association has given a 20% discount, I can make maybe sometime, maybe trouble, this may cause some trouble, but let me make the suggestion. How about announcing 5 marks, grace marks, if you vote, aggregate mein, science, commerce, arts. I think Mr. Patil is looking a little shocked, but maybe 2.5 marks. But I think let us see if this incentive works, that if you vote, then you will get some grace marks. So positive incentive. So 7.8 lakh, there are, as Mr. Sari said, I think 80 lakh voters. But imagine the voting percentage among the age group of 18 to 24 is not even 15%. Very low, 15 to 20%. So now let me give you why this is important. If it is 44% voting percentage in Mumbai, there are typically at least 4 parties who are fighting the election. And all 4 of them think that they can win. So MNS thinks it will definitely win. Shiv Sena, BJP combined, they think we will definitely win. Rashtrawadhi, NCP think we will definitely win. And Congress party also think they all are very confident. So assuming it is a very tough fight, 44% votes get divided by 4. So 11, if it is a really tough fight. So if you get 12 or 13% of the vote, you win. Which means if you got 12%, means 88% of the voters did not vote for you and you still are a winner. That's why it is important to increase voting percentage. Can we call ourselves a representative democracy, representative municipal corporation, representative government, if 88% of the people do not prefer the candidate who is going to win? That's why voting percentage. Let us follow the example of, let's say, Tripura, which has set the highest benchmark. I think it is 92 or 93% voting percentage. As the state election commissioner said that even in rural Maharashtra, we are getting 65, 70, 72% voting. Why Mumbai only 44%? Incidentally, this election on 21st February around this season, we actually have more than 10 municipal corporations and many other bodies going for elections, which account for something like 60% of the population of Maharashtra. 60%. So it's a very important election that's coming, and it is very, very important that voting percentage goes up. So that was my third point. The first point, National Voters Day. Second point, 7.8 lakh students with Mr. Patil and Mr. Deshmukh, Vice Chancellor. Third point is that why 44% is very low. Fifth point is, as I think Professor Mansi Phadke told us, that many people say, "Arey, जाने से फायदा क्या है?" All the candidates, ये गबलू है, वो गबलू है. So we are not inspired, we are not excited by these candidates. Well, do you know that there is something called NOTA? How many of you have heard of NOTA? N-O-T-A? Only 2 students. So I think we have to do a lot of work, because there is something called NOTA on the electronic voting machine. You have the names of all the candidates, and the last name is N-O-T-A, none of the above. नापसंतीचे वोट. जर तुम्हाला कोणी नापसंत असेल, सगळे उमेदवार जर नापसंत असतील, then you can still cast your vote for NOTA. So if you are really dissatisfied, then please go and vote for NOTA. So we will be having NOTA button, right, in these elections. So remember, we can vote for NOTA. And final point is that if you want to know about the candidates, so you are saying many times we don't even know who is the candidate. Last moment the names are announced, last moment the ticket is given, corporator, we don't know the name. So please, that's why I wanted to type on the laptop, but please write down this website. You can see it on your mobile. myneta.info. M-Y-N-E-T-A, myneta, not myneta.com, not myneta.org, myneta.info, I-N-F-O. You can enter you can go and click on Mumbai constituency. The data is not available now because the nominations will start coming in from, I think, tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So by around 3rd or 4th of February, around that time, you will have detailed information on the candidates, detailed biodata, and we also hope to put up 3-minute video of each of the candidates. So if you want to see who is standing in your constituency, go to myneta.info. So to again repeat, 44% is just too low. We have to reach 60% this year in Mumbai. Secondly, don't forget NOTA. And thirdly, please remember the website myneta.info. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajit, for those brief but interesting comments. You really brought out some interesting points there. We have roughly 10 minutes now for question and answers. I do have some questions for panelists, but if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand, particularly students or even anyone from the front row. If you do have any questions, raise your hand. This is your time to ask difficult questions to eminent people. You get sometimes this opportunity, so please do raise your hands. I will wait for the questions, but may I start with a question for Dr. Patil? Is there anyone? Yeah. So I have a question for Dr. Patil, and I think Ajit mentioned about the number of students you have. It's a staggering number of students you have in Bombay University. I'm sure you're doing what you're doing. Also, Professor Phadke mentioned about the fact that unfortunately there is a correlation between education and voting, which is there as a fact. It is not as opinion, it's a fact. Given this, which it's an uphill task for you, how can we do something? Can we create some youth icons in the university? Can we do something else which leads to further improvement in the percentage of voting, particularly from students?
Yes, sir. Actually, in every college, we have given a responsibility to the nodal officer, as well as you said, there is a student also who is looking after this, and he may not be called as an icon, but he is taking care of the students, and through our cultural activities or the social annuals, we have tried to create the awareness, and I'm sure this time the more students will come out, and the voting percentage from the students, youth will be increased. Certainly, it will be increased.
Do we have a rough idea how many percentage students vote, or is there has someone tried to find out? Is it below 44%, above 44%? Would you know?
I can give you exact idea, but I am sure that this time the awareness which we have created, that is created a lot of enthusiasm among the students, especially those who are going to vote first time, because there are students who are registered after 18 years and then they are now going to be vote first time for these elections, which are coming elections. What the question you raised, actually it is a policy matter, but still those who are involved in the NSS, we have given this as a project, voters awareness project, and there they are getting the weightage for the work which they have done for the voter creating awareness, as well as they are going to vote also. So that is there, as you said, but not directly the grace marks which we can give.
Thank you, Dr. Patil. I think let's take it as a target for Bombay University. We exceed the Tripura percentage of 92%. If we are able to do that, we will certainly do well. I would like to ask our next question to Dharna. If you take the mic, please. You mentioned about what Tatas are doing, and you being part of the, let me call it, young brigade. What is it further that can be done on the social media? Can it be a powerful tool, or it cannot be? To increase. State Election Commission is doing what they're doing. There are other people doing, but is there something more which can be done?
I think some of the initiatives. So I think some of the initiatives that were mentioned in the morning, which included providing information on the candidates, creating those drives, that information drive, I think plays a very important role. I would also like to suggest that each of the individuals sitting here is a network by themselves when it comes to social media. And how we end up utilizing that network across in friends, families, relatives, ensuring that you are able to create that information supply around yourself. If that enablement is provided to the youth, it can act as a huge tool to create awareness and creating a drive around going out and voting. So that is essentially also what the Jagore campaign did. It tried to create that impact on youth, saying that if you are not voting, you do not have a right to complain about the system. And what are you doing about it to change what is wrong with the system or with the country? So I think it becomes important from a social media perspective. It can create a wave of information and it can create a network around yourself to utilize and influence people.
Sure. So maybe I'll come to Ajit, since we're talking about social media and its impact. I thought I'll ask you a couple of questions. Firstly, the aspect of transparency, you mentioned that website, but today compared to, let's say, 15 years back, 10 years back, if I want any information on any candidate, it's available. So transparency is there. Is there anything more which can be done on the transparency bit? That's number one. And number two, just to take the social media context forward, and how corporates can encourage, you're part of a large corporate group. So you were asking Dr. Patil, so maybe Dr. Patil should ask you, what would you do to encourage voters in your company to vote? For example, we did a small thing. I work for Aptech, so last election, next day morning, people who had dot on their hand, vote mark, we gave them a small chocolate. So that the people who didn't were feeling fairly embarrassed that they didn't get a chocolate. This small thing, but so there are two parts of the question. One is transparency bit, and second is what can corporates do?
Yeah, on the second one, I think we also have some similar incentives. First of all, we give time off, so it is not as if people have to vote in their own time and somehow struggle to come to work. So we actually give time off for voting. It could be half day, it could be 2 hours. So we give time off, and we also have these incentives. So maybe at the staff canteen you get a discount or you get a special little goodie. And there's also peer pressure. So certainly that is done. On the transparency, so actually by the way, department-wise we set targets. So interdepartmental competition, which department achieved 100% or 90%, 80% voting. On transparency, you see, it's not only about transparency, it's about putting pressure on the political party system. That is, we would like, I think Professor Mansi also said that there is a concern among voters that we need better quality candidates, whether in terms of educational record, public service record, and so on. So this transparency enables you to compare candidates across parties, across constituencies. Also, by the way, myneta.info gives you information about the same candidate 5 years ago. So you can also see how much, let's say, the wealth has increased. And, if it is increased disproportionately or, so those things matter to people. So I think certainly the influence of money power on politics is a very worrying phenomenon. And it is absolutely sure that more money in elections is bad for democracy and accountability. So I think this website serves not only to get information about the voters per se, but also to put pressure on the political system.
Great. So maybe I'll ask a question to Kashmira, in terms of, he said time off his companies give. And, in the past we have seen that when the voting day is connected to a weekend, it's particularly a big time off people take. How can we demotivate people to go out for a picnic? What is it that some of the things we think we should, is there social pressure, social media pressure? Is it, making icons? Are there any thoughts you have on this?
A number of thoughts have come to my mind as I've heard all my esteemed panelists speak, and I've just been whispering to Dharna that maybe we need to make a group movement out of it. I think communication plays a huge role. And of course, in today's day and age, the social media and the e-communication plays even a larger role. But I think, the ideas that I've got from here, and something which I would certainly implement in my organization, if not the whole group, is one is making people aware that you are expected as a responsible citizen to vote. And my hope is that if we send this out to, let's say, 8,000 of my employees, of which even, let's say, 60% are relevant voters for this particular election, my hope is that at least 20% would actually comply. Because a lot of times we really need a little bit of a push and a nudge. Mansi, I could not agree with you more that these are the same doubts which keep getting thrown to us to say, but who should I vote for? But it's a bit like we all have to become conscious that we have to play our role. It's like dirt on the street. So what if I throw? Everybody else throws. So are you part of the problem? Are you part of the solution? And I think it's responsible people like us and responsible corporates who can keep moving this message down the line. Another thought process which I had was, when Dharna very accurately mentioned about, each one of us is a network to ourselves. So under the aegis of maybe CII or, if we could have a one-pager saying, I'm going to vote, are you, or something like that, we could all start posting it on our timelines. And, it's going to make people aware that, I must remember, I shouldn't be doing this, etc. And of course, as far as the corporates are concerned, 100% you'll have nothing official, like no official picnic, no official outing. And I like what Ajit said, maybe I'll increase it from one chocolate to something a little more exciting. And I quite like that thought also. So I think there are a number of ideas and there are little things which we can do. And very largely, a lot of people who don't vote, I think it's not where I've taken a very conscious decision that I'm not going to vote. It's just that I've not taken a conscious decision to vote either. So this is what we're trying to change, that, bring in the power of positivity, bring in the fact that I think you owe this. You owe this to your country, you owe this to your city, you owe this to yourselves. You know, you are a democracy and you're very proud to be a democracy, so then please exercise that option. So thanks.
Great. So there is one question, I'll come to that. So we do have, on the Twitter, if you go, a hashtag Mumbai Rise, Mumbai Vote is there. State Election Commission has a handle, which is Maharashtra and SEC capital. So please put on Twitter. I will ask Mansi, but before that, apparently there's a question. Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, I have one question. One is...
Just hold it close.
Pardon, sir? Ajit talked about the site where we can know about the candidate. But the bigger problem is, at least sometimes we see the face of the candidate before the elections. But after the elections, you never see the face of the candidate. So either the commissioners, can something be done that every 6 months or there should be some meeting in one ward or something like that? And my second question is, can there be a policy of e-voting? Will that increase the percentage of voting?
So after elections, once elected, disappear. That's what he's saying. Can that be improved?
So that's of course, see, citizen engagement is only not to cast one vote in 5 years. Obviously, the citizen engagement has to be continuous. It's not for me, but I think Mr. Churchill said eternal vigilance is the price of freedom and democracy. So, do ache tali bajti, you can't say that they never come to meet us. We also have to make an effort. But you're right that this, just like we have election watch activities, we also have constituency watch activities. So ward by ward, there are ward level committees, ALM, who have periodic meet the corporator events, have meetings to air grievances or share their concerns. So this is a very local initiative, but I agree that's equally important.
Eternal vigilance, yeah.
I'd just like to add on to what Dr. Ranade said here. Sir, again, I'm going to resort to data, which is what I quickly do normally. In the current study that we conducted on BMC, one of the questions which we'd asked people is, how many times in the past 5 years did you meet your corporator for whatever issue? And this again takes back to his point that tali dono haathon se bachti hai. So I'd like to tell you that less than 40% of the people in Mumbai have by themselves also taken an initiative to go out and meet the corporator. That the corporator disappears after the election is a fact of life. And I'm totally with you on that. But the fact is that citizenry initiative is also equivalently lacking. So I think from both angles, this difference has to be made by local lobby groups. And we cannot really expect the election commission to come in with this kind of an initiative. It has to be driven by the citizenry itself. Having said that, I couldn't agree with you more that it is the fact that my Neta, after he is voted into power, just disappears. So we'd also asked people, what are the top 3 attributes that you want to see in your candidate? And again, I'd like to tell you that one of the things which the people have said is that he should not be corrupt. So a non-corrupt candidate is what people have asked for. The second attribute which people have asked for is that he should be able to drive the ward level programs efficiently. And the third thing which comes back to your query really sharply is that people have said that please let my candidate be accessible. But this is easier said than done. Accessibility is something for which the citizens also have to put in a pressure point. So I think it will have to work out like that.
Thank you. Mansi, just a quick question, and
sure.
I have seen those 35 slides of yours, very, very, useful. So, women voters, you also mentioned low. What can be done? Quickly.
Okay, so we've also tried to think around this problem that, so the first things first, that globally this is a trend, that women tend to vote a little lesser as compared to men, and this seems to be a global trend, something which we found corroborating in Mumbai too. Now what can we do about this? So one of the suggestions which we've been working at, especially with the PMC, because it's hop, skip and jump away at Pune, we've tried to tell them that let your voter awareness programs have a gender bias. Now typical things, for example, if you're looking at a big bazaar kind of a thing, which offers amongst a host of other things grocery, which is where you'll find more of a female presence. So can we not have more of hoardings being put up there, or in shopping malls, in changing rooms where the woman is more likely to go? So, these are the things that we really need to quickly do. I have one more comment on that. It is the 1835 group, cross women group, which is really our low voting category, right? Now, 18 to 35 people, that age group is likely to have children which are very young. So another thing which we've suggested again is that, with very young kids in schools, if all of the corporations can just get in touch with whatever 2000 schools network we have in every city, if you can just instruct the teachers of the kindergartens or all the way up to 4th grade, that a week prior to the election, so let us say starting from 14th of February or something like that, if on every day the teacher can just dictate a note to the kids to write in that calendar or whatever it is that they have, please vote for my future. Because the parents are expected to sign that vote, when the kids are that young. So it just hits back at that group which is relevant for us. That's one. Two is children's parks, because again the mother or the father is likely to take the kid there to the park to play. So that is another place where street plays can be hosted, where hoardings can be put up. So these, the study kind of gives us some inkling as to how this, awareness campaign can really be taken ahead.
Sure. Great. Your changing room is a great idea. I have a
changing
slogan
room.
as well, change for the better. Go
Oh,
ahead and
nice.
vote.
That's lovely.
And if I could just add to some of the points that Mansi was making, I think the women segment of the society needs a platform to voice their problems and their issues, and then have an accountability on some of those issues that they have raised. And technology aspect can prove really very important in something like that, where you are able to collate data and information and track it over a period of time, hold the political parties responsible for what promises they make and how they are able to deliver on it. And it also answers back to the point that Sir raised, that how are we able to track the performance of a particular candidate over a period of time. If we have that data in place, then technology can help us drive information out of that data for the next elections maybe. So I think these are processes which will keep building up over a period of time, and all of us will have a role to play in making sure that we provide that data and input and the platforms to the people and to the voters to encourage and come out and put across their problems and issues on such platforms.
That's great. I have to invite Ruben Mascarenes. He is CEO of Operation Black Dot. He's going to speak to you for 2 minutes on the social media initiative of Election Commission. So please do come.
Thank you so much, Ninadji, dignitaries on the dais. I just sum up what we are trying to do. And of course, Saharia ji has been very cooperative. We are using cutting edge technology. So first things first, there's a missed call number, 9029 901 901. So we are trying to get the word out. Once you give a missed call on this number, you get an SMS and you get a link to chatbots. So chatbots are the latest technology where we're using artificial intelligence to directly communicate to the end user. So in this case, in a week's time, we will actually be giving driving directions to people's polling booth. We are actually also the 1-minute videos, which again is a very pioneering thing across all state election commissions. So there is a 1-minute video which will be recorded of every candidate, right, which will be put there ward-wise. You'll also get their expenditures. You'll also get a voter's guide, which is basically information. So right now what we observe, as Mansi ji, you rightly pointed out, the challenge is to engage people without overwhelming them, right? Because there's so much of information and people don't get actionable information. So that's one thing that we're doing. So the number 9029 901 901, please give a missed call. You'll get a link, click that link, it will open in Facebook Messenger and you'll get all these functionalities. That's two. Third, Facebook is partnering with us. So every person above the age of 18 will get a notification that, look, you need to go out and vote. And of course there is a provision of marking yourself inked, right? So just as normally when there is a tragedy, say in Turkey or elsewhere, everybody marks themselves safe. So we're using the same technology where you will mark yourself that you voted, right? So that's what Facebook is doing. Twitter, on the other hand, is giving us an emoji. We have a meeting with them today. But broadly, if you use the hashtag Mumbai or Bombay or polls during that time, anywhere in Mumbai, you'll get a small emoji which will be an icon, which will show a ballot box. So people will at least be a little aware of what's going on. And finally, they will promote whatever grievances there are. So whether it is voter complaints or it is, putting out those videos outside. So for every ward number, you will uniquely get a DM with the video, right? So that's among various things that we're doing. Finally, our Twitter, Maharashtra State Election Commission, it has a Twitter handle. Please tweet to us. Please write to us on our Facebook page. We have an innovative corner. So if you have some ideas which you think you can implement, it will be great. So in addition, so this is the Facebook part of it, which is amplification. Of course, on the ground we have universities, we have corporates, we are speaking to the Labour Commissioner, very interesting things are happening. So thank you so much for your time, and please do engage in this BMC Polls 2017 Mahavoter campaign. We intend to make this the mother of all election campaigns. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben. Looks like a busy man out there, doing a lot of things. I was just telling Mr. Saharia that early morning I tweeted today and was immediately retweeted by this Maharashtra State Election Commission. So before I wind up, since there are no further questions, I would like to wind up with some concluding kind of comments. Yeah, one quick question. We are running late. So, yeah, can you? I'll just give one benefit of one last question by the gentleman here.
सर नमस्कार. आजच्या या फोरमच्या निमित्तानं आज इथे जेवढे लोक आहेत आणि ते वोटर आहेत तर ते आज प्रॉमिस करतील का की मुंबईमध्ये उद्या 21 फेब्रुवारीला मी वोट करणार.
So all who are here, will you take a pledge?
They should raise their hand. Yes, I will vote.
Yeah, will you all pledge to vote?
Yes.
In the next elections?
Yes. Thank you.
100%, more than Tripura. So I'll start with Ajit and the others. You know, we have 70% audience is young audience, students. Just a quick Twitter message, 140 characters, each one of you. What would you like to tell them?
Since all of us have pledged to vote, I would request each one of you to convince at least 10 other people and not the same duplicate. So each person, 10 different people to vote on 21st February.
So each one gets 10 more, right? What about you, Mansi?
I'd say if the youth doesn't change, then nothing can change. So the youth absolutely have to go out and compulsorily vote for change.
Vote for change is the message. Dr. Patil?
As Dr. Andale said, same thing that every youth has to vote, and then he has to appeal the family members. And one more thing you have to keep in mind, that all the statistics shows that the age group 18 to 35 is voting less. So now it is in our hand how to increase the percentage in the group of 18 to 35. So I am sure that all of you will take a note of this and will take a promise that we will increase this voting percentage from this group. Thank you, sir.
So family members, Dr. Patil. Yeah, who's going next? Kashmira?
I began to vote when I was eligible to vote. So my request to all the youth in the room, and particularly the women, please exercise your right to vote. Be responsible, be conscious. Thank you.
So women, be responsible, be conscious. Yes, please give a round of applause. It's always good. I moderate a lot of panels and always see when you applaud a lot, panelists feel really happy. So please keep applauding. And last, Dharna.
So in the polling booth, every vote has an equal standing and equal chance. So please go out and vote. Be the change that you want to see in the world. And a woman in the polling booth is equal to a man, if not otherwise. So please go out and vote.
Women in the polling booth is equal to man. So we got a lot of interesting messages. 10, each one should get 10 more. Vote for change, family members and women. I think we had a very interesting panel discussion. These people have come. Professor Phadke has come all the way from Pune. Ajit leads a very extremely busy life, as you can see. Dr. Patil has been gracious to come here. I know Kashmira has dashed through a board meeting to just be with us. And Dharna also has a lot of busy schedule. Please give them a big round of applause for coming here this morning. We would also like to thank Mr. Saharia for coming here, Mr. Sanjay Deshmukh and Bombay University for hosting us, BMC for being a partner, and State Election Commission. We have a pledge of 100% of people voting here. So Mr. Saharia, I think your intent of coming here, and if this 100 go to 10 more, so you already have 1,000 people ready, and this 1,000 will hopefully go on the social media, and that can only multiply. So thank you all of you, panelists, for being here, and thank you for joining us. Thank you.